My third time restarting this because I am too incompetent to make a YouTube video. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to Under 5, a series where I take a big and complicated topic and explain it to you guys in 5 minutes or less. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you can get more quick and easy explanations on challenging topics. For today's Under 5, I'm once again going to be talking about COVID-19 and climate change. Last time I talked about how this pandemic and quarantine could have an impact on climate change, but now I'm going to flip things a little bit and look at how climate change may have impacted the spread of COVID-19. From there, we're going to broaden things a little bit and look at how disease as a whole is impacted by climate change. Since we're talking about the spread of COVID-19, let's briefly discuss how COVID-19 is spread. From the CDC website, COVID-19 is primarily spread from person to person who are in close proximity, specifically through respiratory droplets, which are produced and let out into the world around us when we breathe, talk, sneeze, or cough. These droplets can land on the mouths and noses of the people nearby. Another way it can be transferred is if you get infected droplets on your hands and then touch your nose and mouth, that can effectively transmit it to you as well. The respiratory droplets also can suspend in the air for a short amount of time, where it can then be breathed in. Spread is of course more likely when you are in close proximity to each other, and due to all these routes of transmission, this is why the CDC also recommends keeping 6 feet distance apart, wearing a mask to reduce the spread of the droplets out and keep it more contained, wash your hands frequently, and also avoid touching your face, mouth, and nose when you are out in public. So we've established COVID-19 is a respiratory illness, and it is spread primarily from person to person. COVID-19 is also believed to have originated from bats and then transferred from bats to humans, making COVID-19 a zoonotic disease. Here is a very helpful diagram to kind of understand better what a zoonotic disease is. Right now, there's actually minimal research on how respiratory illnesses will be impacted by climate change, and there's even less research on how specifically COVID-19 will be affected by climate change. There is currently no evidence to suggest that human-to-human spread of COVID-19 has been increased due to the effects of climate change. However, we do know that zoonotic diseases are impacted by a changing climate. And remember, this is what COVID-19 is. Unlike humans, animals are very driven by climate, and specific species of animals have adapted to live in specific climates. Research has shown that climate change will result in a generally warmer climate with increased precipitation in some areas and decreased precipitation in others. These factors have a huge impact on where animals are located. 2 easy examples of how the locations of animals will change are birds and mosquitoes, both of which are animals that transmit well-known zoonotic diseases. Remember the old saying about how birds fly south for the winter? As higher latitudes become warmer, bird species that typically fly south for the winter don't really need to as much anymore, or don't need to travel as far south to get to a warmer climate. More birds equals more spread of diseases such as the bird flu. Mosquitoes like warm and wet climates, especially where there's a lot of standing water. Typically this means they like to hang out in the tropics, and for Midwesterners like me, they're annoying for about 3 months of the year, and then they're gone after that. But with climate change, my summer will likely become longer and wetter, resulting in mosquitoes being around much longer than usual and having more standing water where they can lay their eggs. So then we have the same situation as the birds. More mosquitoes more frequently equals more spread of diseases such as malaria and yellow fever. And again, these are just 2 examples, and by far from being the only ones. There are lots of animals whose territories and migration patterns are impacted by what the climate is like. And if the climate is changing, their migration patterns are going to change too. Thus, the diseases these animals typically spread could become more widespread in areas that typically don't experience outbreaks of these diseases that often. There is so much more I could cover on disease transmission, and this is just a brief overview. And again, I wanted to focus on zoonotic diseases because that is what COVID-19 is. Changing temperatures and precipitation patterns are not the only environmental changes humans are causing. This table here from A paper written by the WHO gives even more examples of environmental changes and how they impact specific diseases. The paper is linked down below if you want more information. Maybe I'll even do a part 2 and cover more of the impacts climate change has on the spread of disease. The point of this video is that yes, climate change has an impact on the spread of disease, and that impact is not a good one. Disease will spread more in a changing climate. But for now, it is up to you if you want to learn more about the spread of disease due to climate change, because that's all the time I have for this video. If you liked this video, make sure to leave a like down below. That way I know, and also subscribe to the channel to join the journey to living more sustainably. If you'd like to keep up on my own journey to living more sustainably in between uploads, you can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, which are all linked down below. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.